You will feel unfulfilled at a soul level. The reason for this is rather than having gratitude, you have expectations. These expectations cannot see the real you because it is preoccupied with what it wants. This discontentment causes you to be critical and demanding of yourself. It pressures you to become more than you are, even if you have to fake it. This will fail because you push yourself past your ability to do your best when the best part of you is missing. It's pretty hard to be your best when you're not present. That's what's missing. When you're not happy with your situation, when you are caught up in something that you expected that you're not getting, rather than what's already there that you're not noticing, you're missing. You're missing in action. You're either in the past, in a whole bunch of regrets and resentments, or you're in the future anticipating what might happen, what could happen, what you want to see happen. Your expectations are out in the future. So anytime you spend time over here in the past or out there in the future, you're missing the only moment you have any impact, and that's the present moment. That's being where you are right now for the right reasons. So Ray, who do we have with us tonight?
Well, I'm surprised we have Vanessa. I think she's over in Australia.
Vanessa.
So it's already Christmas. It's already Christmas where she is.
It is.
What did Santa bring me? Okay. Now Stacy Bauer. Hi, Stacy.
Stacy, very glad to have you both.
And Ray Holly.
And Ray Holly. We'll have some people, like always, when they watch the replay.
Howdy from Texas.
And people will pop in as we're going along here. So we showed up tonight, being that it's Christmas Eve, because not everybody has plans on Christmas Eve. So we're here for you guys, and the guides are here for you guys.
Our plan was to be here for them.
That's right, Ray. That's right. So Ray, what do we have any questions from these guys?
Yeah.
Okay.
Vanessa had a comment about yes, it's Christmas morning there where she is, and she says besides gratitude, she's been trying to practice mindfulness.
Yeah. So that you're aware, so you don't miss the moment that you're in. That's good. That's about, as long as you work on that, Vanessa, that's a matter of being present, so you don't miss what's going on. What's going on? I mean, if it happened in the past, or it's going to happen in the future, that's not what's going on right now. You don't have control. You don't have any power in the past or the future. You have power in the present moment. So the mindfulness thing is a very good thing to I'm going to say this, to write in your journal, mindfulness, that you attend to what enters your awareness. When something enters your awareness that you are surprised at, you didn't expect that was news to you, make sure you write it in part 3 in the journal writing. That 15 minutes a day where you write in there what was unusual or out of the ordinary that happened that day. That 15 minutes of quiet time that you spend with yourself. And the byproduct is having that connection to your guidance. It's just the way it works. All right.
Vanessa says it's difficult, but she's really trying to do it.
Yeah. It's there's going to come a point when, in terms of it being difficult, when it's going to be such a pleasure to have that moment, that it won't be difficult. The only difficult part of it will be if somebody interrupts you or somebody doesn't respect that alone time that you asked them for. Okay. And you will find a way around that, Vanessa. You will find a way to get that for yourself, because you are a better person when you give that to yourself and you can reflect on it. All right.
Okay. She says, I have the journals in your book, but life keeps distracting me. Yeah, that's it. I mean, another word for the mindfulness is paying attention.
It is.
Paying attention to what's going on right now, the present moment, the now. And once you are paying attention to the present moment, the distractions are still there, but they're out there. You know, they're not interrupting you.
Yeah, you put them in perspective. In other words, your attention, if you're being ripped out of the present moment to pay attention to something over here that's like, you know, it's just annoying, it's aggravating. It's the same thing that happened yesterday and the day before and the week before and the week and the month and the year and the on and on and on, and it doesn't seem to change. That's something you will have power over the more you give yourself the 15 minutes. I want you to think about it like this. Some people spend their whole life trying to save money. Not that that's a bad thing, but everything in balance, okay? When you give yourself, when you invest in yourself, it's the same currency as if you had money in your pocket. If you got extra money, you got that extra time, that little extra time that you gave yourself. Here's the key, that you give to yourself every day. It won't matter if you don't give it to yourself every day. It has to be consistent. That's when the miracles will happen. That's when the ahas and the oh my gods will happen. When you look back at what you wrote and you go, oh my God, I see how what that meant there, and I see what that meant there, and I see what that meant there. I'll give you a little hint. Here's another little Linda story, okay? I'm going to say this happened about 4 days ago. I had a dream. And Ray and I always talk about our dreams in the morning. It's important that you do that. Write those dreams down in the journal writing, part 3. Never forget to do that. And I had this dream about, I was going up an embankment like this, really steep. And the soil was real soft. There were no rocks and roots from trees to walk up and use to get up this steep incline. I mean, I'm telling you, it was very steep. So it was real loose soil. At the top was a man. It was my guide. He was already at the top, the masculine part of me, waiting for me to find my way up to where he was. And the way I had to do it was I had to, instead of going straight up, like I kept trying to do, I had to go a little bit over to the left and traverse my way up. And it was like immediate. I got my way up to the top. And I was standing at the top up there with my guide, looking out over everything. I could see forever just by making that one adjustment. I wouldn't have known what that was. I wouldn't have seen it for myself. When you're the dreamer, you can't see this stuff like you can if you were to hear somebody else tell their dream. You've got to write it in your journal so that you can look back at it later that day or the next day or the week next week and go, oh, I could see what that is. I know what that is. And lo and behold, what happened in the last 2 days, I know exactly what the guidance was showing me to do in my day life to make that little adjustment over to the left brain, logic, this world stuff, as opposed to right brain, intuition, inner stuff. Okay, I had to adjust something in the way that I do things, and I had to yield a little bit more to the mainstream, to the left brain of people, to the everyday way that they live, so I could reach them, so I could see what they needed. That was what that dream was telling me. So we got some comments there. I love this when you guys bring up what's going on with you. That's just a little hint about the gratitude you have for yourself is the 15 minutes you give yourself every day to report to yourself, to document what's going on with you, the real you, so that you can begin to interface with that real you more often, to the point that you are full on with your real you, and there's no more like a pretend you or a part of you that's still uneasy with yourself, but you keep faking your way through it. No more of that. I want you guys to know Next week, when we do our New Year's, it's going to be New Year's Eve, event on Tuesday. It's going to be about not being able to fake it anymore. You won't be able to get away with it, you guys. You've got to come in as who you are, because it's been hurting you. It hurts you in your job. It hurts you in your relationships. It hurts you in every facet of your life. It hurts you when you're alone with yourself. Okay, Ray, what do we have there?
Okay, we have a couple good questions. Stacy wants to know, how do I go about manifesting my desires without having expectations about the future? Okay?
Right.
And then Barbara Ann, she has another question.
But I have to answer her
Let's do
first.
one at a time.
Yeah, Stacy,
how do I go about manifesting my desires without having expectations?
Okay, that's a tricky one. I'm going to say that your desires can really, okay, let me say this. Your desires can really make you feel like that's what you should be. It feels like you're chasing it. That's what I want to say.
Yeah.
Desires are, they're a pull in this world. They're the kind of things that you catch yourself chasing, or you're out of bounds with you. Okay, if you only knew what was waiting for you, that was trying to present itself to you, showing you right now in the moment, the desires get in the way of that. They actually dull the present moment, so that you miss what is really being presented to you. The bigger picture, the best thing that you could possibly imagine, way past any expectation you have. See, desires and expectations are friends. Okay, so let's see what your guides have to say about that.
Hello, Stacy. We come in truth and love. When you say my desires or my wants, you mean that you are focusing on things you lack, that you feel you need more of. These things can be material or spiritual or something that's currently not present in your life, but you want it, and you want it badly. Rather than focusing on something you don't have, focus on what you do already have some of, even if you want more of it, but focusing on the amount you have comes from a place of gratitude and thankfulness instead of feeling lack. Once you acknowledge that you are grateful for what you do have, you open up the universe to bring you more of it.
I want you to do this, Stacy. I know you are serious, and I know you mean that you want to pull through this. Okay. Write down in part 3 what you are grateful for, what you are grateful for having right now. Not about any lack. Refuse to think about the desires and the lack. Refuse to do it. Talk about the things you're grateful for. Think about the things you're grateful for. Write about the things you're grateful for. Wake up every day and write down what you're grateful for. gratitude is the only time the real you can be present.
Right.
When you have gratitude, you are, there's no other place to be than present. I just can't say that enough. What else do we have, Ray?
Barbara Ann says she's found that I found that being around a toxic person is a big stumbling block for me. By the time I'm home alone, I'm so out of sorts. This removes me from the present moment in a big way. Any advice for how to refocus and such? So it sounds like this toxic person is somebody she works with before she gets home. Is that right? Is this somebody you work with?
I have a feeling it's something she's coming home to.
No, she says she comes home and she's alone.
Okay, and alone. Oh. Okay, so answer the question. Answer what Ray asked you, Vanessa. But and then we'll move into this, and then we'll have your guides talk to you about this. Okay.
Okay.
So bring it on. Let's have clarity.
So Barbara Ann, where is this toxic person in your life? At home or at work?
Right.
All right. And Marie Cloudier joined us. Hi, Marie.
Hi, Marie.
Long time since we've seen you.
Marie, feel free to ask your question. Okay.
Stacy says, okay, thank you.
And Stacy, I know you can do it. I know you can do it. Here's what I want to say to you, Stacy. I know you can do it, and you know why I know you can do it? Because when you do this and you perform on this and you write it down and you show your little boy how you're doing this, how you're pulling through this, how you are becoming more because you have what it takes to pull through this and nail this down and perform on it, and then watch the results unfold. You are an example to your little boy. You and your little boy are tight. He needs to see this. He needs to see Mom get this right so he can get it right.
Yeah, he doesn't need to see Mom
struggle and hurt
or think that she lacks anything.
He doesn't want to see you hurt. It hurts him more than it hurts you. It really does. Okay, so you do this work. You write this stuff down, and then once you flush it out and you see the result, then share it with your little boy. He's going to love it. It's going to show him how to get through anything in this life and come out on top. And I mean that.
Okay.
What did Vanessa tell us, Ray?
Barbara.
Or Barbara. It was Barbara.
Stacy says we will. She's going to work. There you go. It's an elderly friend of the family I'm helping out with housework and errands. She's 89 and not really a happy person.
Okay. Oh, boy.
Right.
Okay, so it's something out of obligation she's doing when you say, right?
Yeah. And the person is toxic.
Yeah.
Probably more than one way.
Yeah. I had a mom like that. Okay, let's let your guides talk to you about this, and thank you for the clarity.
Barbara Ann, this person who you see as toxic is very unhappy with their life. You want to help them, but their attitude toward life gets in the way and disturbs you. We want you to realize that you can't help anyone with anything if you go where they are. So what's happening is that you let this person's unhappiness and judgment of everything get to you. It's something that you must start looking at from afar, realizing that it's their issue with their life and has nothing to do with you, with the exception that you have to be around them. If you remove yourself from their negative presence and just focus on helping them in the way that will make them feel better about themselves, they will stop complaining so much when you're around them.
So how does she do that?
Don't react to their negativity. Stay quiet. Stay busy around it. Or when they start complaining even more, find something to do in another room, getting away from their field of negative energy will help you feel better when you get home.
Okay, here's a thought, and it just came to me. Have a phone with you and just say, oh, I got to call somebody.
I got to take this call.
Yeah, I've got somebody calling me. I've got to catch the call. I'll be back. You know, I got to go in the other room and take care of business.
Right.
The minute they start getting carried away with their negativity and you carry yourself off out of that situation for some reason, all right, they have enough time to realize what they did. It doesn't mean they're going to realize it the first time, the second time,
Yeah.
the third time. I mean, they're real comfortable with being miserable. So, but at some point, they will start to realize, wait a second, every time I do this, something seems to happen where she has to go somewhere.
That's brilliant, actually.
And you get yourself, you bail yourself out is what you do.
Well, you train them. I mean,
you are, here's what you're doing. You are training her how to treat you.
That's right.
And so as soon as you find this place to bail yourself out, and off you go, outside, drive down the street, you know, in the other room, out back, wherever you have to go to take care of this business, because you don't want to bother her. That's the way you set it up. She starts to realize something here. And then she starts thinking, well, maybe, she starts to rethink herself is what she starts to do. She can't help but do it. Even the most dense of people will do that.
Right.
They'll check themselves, all right?
It's like when you're training a puppy. If they do something good, you give them a reward. If they do something bad or not the way they're supposed to do it, you don't beat them or hit them. You just ignore them.
Right.
And when they see that they're not getting your attention anymore, they'll change their habit. It's
not working.
Right. Doesn't work.
Yeah. So you have to be, when you walk into that, you have to have a plan B, a plan A, B, C, D, E, F, G. You have to have some kind of strategy that removes you from the situation. That's all. You do it enough and enough and enough, and pretty soon, bong, she's going to get it.
Right.
All right.
Vanessa says, is there anything the guides can suggest to help her with practicing gratitude besides the great advice of writing it down for 15 minutes each day?
Okay. Let him answer her.
First of all, Vanessa, anyone can secure 15 minutes a day alone where they can focus. You could go out to your car and lock the doors and focus on the present moment. You could lock yourself in the bathroom for 15 minutes. It's not hard to find some place to go for 15 minutes where you can be alone. Now, once you are alone, the gratitude can come through in many ways. What else could you do each day to feel more gratitude? Say thank you to everyone. Feel gratitude for being who you are and the job that you do. How does it bring you joy? You certainly have thought about the many ways it doesn't bring you joy over the years, but how about all the things you love about your work? All the things you do well and also love to do them. It's not hard once you start looking and focusing to find things that you are grateful for in your life. This will shift your outward vision about everything and everyone around you.
But you have to write it down. You have to write it down. Eventually, you will start to see you will feel the gratitude without having to reinforce it with what you wrote down.
Right.
Eventually, but not right now. You have to write it down. You might write down, I had something to eat today that I really love. I love it so much. Thank you. That could be gratitude for something that you can afford to eat or something that you've got to have. Just remember, it doesn't matter what it is, you guys, but you have to remember what you're grateful for. Let me translate. What you're grateful for is what's working. It's about what's working.
Yeah, don't focus on what's not working.
Right. It's about what's working. You have to reinforce what's working and write it down so you can look back at what's working. You need reinforcement. You need validation. You need it in your face. You've got to write it down. You need to be reminded. If it's written down on the page, it's out of here, it's on the page, it's in your face. You can't miss it.
Okay, Vanessa says, this is a funny answer. She's got funny faces, laughing faces. That's where I am now at the moment. I don't know if she's locked herself in the car or locked herself in the bathroom. One of those places. That's where I am at the moment. However, my husband keeps walking in and my mother rang it's on the phone.
And she did what, right?
Her mother rang. It interrupted her.
So, yeah.
It's, can't even have any privacy, locking yourself in the bathroom. I would imagine it's tough.
Then I want to say this. Why can't your husband take care of her?
Yeah.
Why is this always on you? You need to create boundaries.
Yeah.
You're being stepped on and walked on. You need to write down part 3. You need to write down what those boundaries are going to be.
Here's one thing. Leave the phone out there when you're in the bathroom or in the car. Don't have the phone with you.
No, there's a ringer. It's not.
Is it a ringer?
It's something, another mechanical device. It's like when they fall or something like that.
Okay.
Okay. So yeah, that can be really abused by somebody. They can sit there and just go all day long and drive you nuts.
Yeah.
I pull that ringer away from her. Yeah. I give the ringer a little rest. All right. You can have the ringer from 7 to 9. You can't have it after 9. You can't have it before. I don't know. You're going to have to draw some lines here. Boundaries. You're going to have to step up your game.
Yeah, boundaries are tough at first. But
You won't know what it is until you write it down. You've got to writing it down. You're going to make the commitment to yourself. You're going to see it on the pages. And you know what? You're not going to see it the moment it's going on. That's why you have to write it down. You won't even see it the moment you wrote it down. You will not. You will see it the next day or the next day after you review what you wrote down. And then you're going to go, oh, well, isn't she a little snot? I'm going to work on this because I see what she's doing. Go ahead, Ray.
She said, Vanessa says, yep, I was in the bathroom. Yeah, she's laughing.
You know, that's ridiculous. So somebody else needs to step in when you need that little time out. I mean, you know, and your husband or somebody, you're letting them push you around.
Vanessa says, I'm definitely going to start setting boundaries. Vanessa sent a laughing face that was crying. She was laughing so hard. And Barbara says, it's our homework assignment, an attitude adjustment.
And I want you guys to write about, with gratitude, because we're talking about gratitude today, we're talking about what's working in your life. It's easy to see the things that are not working.
Most people complain about what's not working.
The only thing you can build on is what's working. You can't build on what's not working. There's no hope in that.
Well said. And Kathy joined us. Hi, Kathy. Merry Christmas.
Kathy, Merry Christmas, Kathy.
And Mary Elizabeth joined us. Hello,
Mary Elizabeth, you guys.
There's a lot of people home alone tonight waiting for Santa Claus.
Well, some of them already had Santa Claus.
That's right. Some of them already had Santa Claus.
Vanessa had Santa Claus already.
That's right.
So what kind of questions do we have?
Well, not a whole lot of questions, just people joining us. Great advice.
So we're talking about, just to overview for you guys that came in a little bit later, we're talking about having gratitude for who you are is the real you. And how do you find that gratitude?
And having gratitude for what you have.
You focus on what's working.
Right.
Gratitude is the high road. You write down what's working in your life. And then if you want to write down next what's not working, you've got the high road working in your favor before you spill out what's not working. You've got more power around the part that's not working because you've got the advantage of what is working. You've got to see what's working first. Then you can take on the part that's not working. It'll become more obvious to you, but you have to write it down because you won't see it in the moment that you write it down or the moment that things are going on. You know, even gratitude, even when things are going really well, you're so happy, it feels so good. But you don't really see the whole thing until you write it down and look back at it. Even I don't. I have a dream and I think, I got to write this dream down, then tell Ray what the dream was. And then later that day, it'll come to me what that dream was. Or I'll get that phone call or that email or something will go on. That person will show up and I'll go, there's the dream. There it is. But I had to write it down so I could remember it happened because I don't know what it means in the minute it happened, right? So you guys, that's how we become conscious. This is how we really ramp it up and raise the bar and have the power in this present moment I'm talking about. Not worried about the future, you know, or regret what happened in the past. You can't fix it, you can't change it. That's no good to you.
You know, I have a little kind of a offshoot to gratitude. I mean, how do you find the gratitude? What I do is I look for quality. I look for the quality in my life. What people and things and situations do I have where I appreciate the quality?
What's working? Quality.
The quality, okay? You know, a simple example would be people feel, well, they always got to go out shopping for new clothes because they feel they lack enough clothes.
There's a void.
That they're covering something up. They need more things to cover something up.
That's exactly the symbolism in what clothes represent. It represents your role that you're playing out in this life and how much, like if you buy a big coat, you're really covering up. You're really trying to, you know, push people away and stuff like that, you know.
Yeah.
In the wintertime is a time when you go within. We have the winter solstice, 2 days ago?
2 days ago.
Yeah. And that means that's a time of the year when you go within. It's normal. It's the natural cycle of life. You go within, and you know it's cold out. So what do? You put your coat on because you're covering up. You're going within. It's a hibernation type of thing. It's an inner thing. It's the inner work. Okay, and the gratitude.
Right.
When you let yourself, when you purge what's going on with you, and you write it in part 3, and about gratitude and what's working in your life. Okay, then it's this inner work that you're doing, that when we come into the spring on March 21st of next year, that's when you come out of your hibernation, you take off your coat, and you come out of hibernation where you did your inner work, and now you're ready to spring forward and let that really show up. So you guys, a couple of days ago, this inner work really started going to work, okay? This inner work. That's why write it down, you guys.
You know, the winter, the going within, the weather gets cold, the weather gets painful. I mean, the weather is painful.
It can be.
The temperature, it can be, you know, it can be something that you want to cover up from, and you need to cover up from, and you want to have a good quality coat. You know, I think of the clothes. I'm not a big clothes shopper, as you know. I'll buy something when I absolutely have to, but I can think of 2 T-shirts that I have in my closet that I bought in 1991, and they're still in perfect shape. They've been washed hundreds of times. They're not faded. There's no tears and no rips in them, but I feel good when I wear them.
So there's a part of you that goes back that far, that when you bought that, in the mindset you were in, where you were in your life,
right,
what was going on.
Yeah, well, I remember exactly what was going on. My wife at the time told me, don't buy those. Those are too expensive. Why would you spend $25 or $20 for a T-shirt? Because I'm still wearing it now, and it still looks like new.
So what's the point?
The point is quality lasts.
Quality lasts.
And that's what you have.
Quality lasts. Okay, that's gratitude.
I have gratitude that I spent the extra money. I could have bought, $4 or $5 T-shirts.
It's something he really liked. Okay, so he went ahead and did that, and he still has them. Okay, so that's remembering then. He's remembering that and saying, I love those shirts even now. And he has gratitude for what's working, for what feels good, for what is a good fit, what fits you, okay? Now, when you look at the things that don't fit you against the gratitude and what does fit you, what's working, when you write down what's not working, you're going to have power over it, because there's the gratitude. There's the part that's working in your life. And when you weigh that against what's not working, you can blow right through it. Okay, you can figure out ways around it. You can see how you let people walk on you, how you wound up moving back and moving back and moving back and tolerating it and compromising and one thing leads to another. Pretty soon it's 5 years later, 10 years, and you're going, what the heck happened here? Stop already, but you can't tell them that until you have a grip on it, and then you can present them. See, there's always going to be people involved. You can present them with your notice. Okay, I call it giving them notice. I had to, many times in my life, put the people in my life on notice. No more. This is how I'm going to do it from now on. Blah, blah, blah.
That's what Barbara has to do. Barbara has to stop teaching that old lady how to treat her.
How to treat her wrong.
Right.
Okay, now it's going to be about how to treat you right.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. You're going to turn this around on her.
I turned it around with the shirt thing. I still have the 2 T-shirts from 1991, but I don't have the wife from 1991. See how that worked out?
He recovered. Yeah, he kept the good stuff and left the rest behind.
Right.
That's what you guys are going to become good at. You're going to become masters at this without being a horrible person. Okay, that's a perception. By the way, I just want you to know that there's no such thing as how you handle the situation is what you need to perfect. That's all you need to perfect. Dealing with it is obvious. You already know. It's like fingernails on a chalkboard. Yay! You need to deal with this, but you can't fix it until you see it on the pages. Okay?
Right, and you can't fix it by going where these other people are and acting like they do
right,
to
Ray.
you.
That's right. You can't fix it by going where they're at. It will never work. Then they control you. They're calling the shots.
You can't even help them by going where they're at.
Let alone yourself.
Right.
Yeah.
It's
you drown. You go down with that if that's what you're doing. Don't choose that road.
Vanessa says you're going to start with self-love first. Self-love.
That's what gratitude is.
It is. Learning how to love yourself
Yeah.
and love what you have. Being happy with who you are, what you have, brings you more of who you are and more of what you have that you thought you lacked.
That is absolute. And you know, Vanessa, and all of you, learn to breathe. See, when you let yourself have that life force back, when you keep cutting off your breath and you keep breathing shallow and all that, you're reducing your life force. Okay, it's harder for you to be in this world. It's harder for you to function at an optimum level. It's very hard, if not impossible. You have to breathe. You have to let yourself breathe and loosen up your body and get back in your body. You're not in your body. How could you be? You don't like it in there where it's miserable. Nobody would like it like that. So you got to make it okay to be back present here, now, okay? Okay, so this thing about gratitude. Having gratitude for who you are is the real you. Let me explain that again in my own way. Gratitude for who you are is the real you. Only the real you knows how to have gratitude. The other parts of you does not know what this is like. They don't. The other parts of you is distracted, is confused, is angry, is frustrated, is overwhelmed, regrets what happened in the past, is anticipating what's going to happen in the future, is not present. Okay? The real you has no other place to be but right here in the present moment. That's why gratitude for who you are can only be appreciated and acknowledged by the real you. Okay? Not the you from the past with all those regrets, and the you from the future with all that anticipation and expectation. That's not who you are. That's not who you are. When you're not present, you are not being you. That's not the real you. And in 2020 is all about being the real you. 2020 vision. It's about being the real you. Laser focused, stellar, true north. You. Okay, you being totally present. Being bold. That's another word the guides have been using about 2020. Be bold. Okay, who is that? That's the real you. That's you who has gratitude. Okay.
Okay.
I love gratitude. Gratitude saved my life. Gratitude gave me my life.
Yeah, they should go listen to trailer number 8.
I know, right?
On lindadeir.com under Reflections Unguided.
If you just go to lindadeir.com, instead of looking for this link, go to lindadeir.com and on the search box, the little magnifying glass, put in
Gratitude.
Put in
The day I got out alive.
Yeah, the day I got out alive. Yeah, it's one of the trailers for guided video trailers, about 5 minutes long, about gratitude. And I'm telling you, when I got out of that, I just have to share this with you guys. When I got out of that family environment when I was 16, and I was telling Ray, my anniversary for being out of that situation happened on December 17th, the first night I was out. December 17th of this month, 51 years ago. 51 years ago was the first night I got out of that toxic childhood environment. It was so much gratitude. I mean, this video Ray's talking about explains it. It's even hard for me to talk about now. It was so traumatic. So I literally physically shifted and changed. I felt like the Hulk. You know how you guys ever seen the Hulk, you know, that show where his skin splits open, where he's changing physically, he's morphing into something else. I felt that feeling. I couldn't believe how much breathing I did. I was having panic attacks just trying to breathe. It was the first time I could breathe since I was born, that 51 years ago on December 17th, that first night. I always said, I have so much gratitude. I have enough gratitude for the world from getting through that toxic childhood environment. All I could think about, it was nothing but negativity thrown at me. And all I could feel was gratitude. I was so freaking grateful for being out of it. I couldn't believe I got out of it. Anyway, gratitude.
Here you are.
Gratitude will change everything.
Changes your life.
Gratitude's everything. It's everything. I will say that anybody who doesn't have gratitude is bankrupt. They're spiritually bankrupt. Yeah. So people, here's another thing. I just have to say this too. I've seen so many people who have lived, you know, privileged lives, charmed lives, and they are the most unhappy people I've ever met because they had no gratitude. They had everything given to them, and they keep wondering why they're not happy. They have no gratitude. They don't even have a baseline for gratitude. They have no foundation for gratitude. They never had to overcome something that was so life-threatening and devastating that they came out the other side because of their own determination, their own inner truth, that they came out with so much gratitude that they were rich beyond words. These people who just have a charmed life they're in poverty. You guys have seen it. I know you have. And that's why. Because they are starving for gratitude. They don't even understand what it means. All right. Okay, you guys are a million miles ahead of that. I want you to know you're closer than you think you are. Write it down. Write down what's working for you, what you're grateful for. They're the same things, you guys. Okay, then you could take on the things that are throwing you a curve, and you can manage to get through it with the high road. Okay, and overcome it and get your life back. Okay. All right, so before we do the closing message tonight with the guides, next Tuesday, December 31st, New Year's Eve, we're going to be right here with you guys. We are so dedicated. Join us right here on my Facebook page, Linda, Deir Author. This will be a Q&A and commentary with me and my spirit guides at 6 p.m. Pacific time, so don't miss it. In Linda's weekly guided insights, my spirit guides will be talking about 2020, how this year will be different. New Year's Eve, out with the old and in with the new. Only this time, it's out with the old you and in with the real you. This time, you're going to get it right. 2020 is a new decade that will require that you are real. Acknowledging the excess of fakes, frauds, and scams in your world is amplifying this. It's the time that you must be who you are. There will be no more faking it, no more putting up a facade around you so people will like you and you can fit in. So you thought. It hasn't worked out well so far, so don't continue doing it. You see that? It's not going to be something that you can fake anymore. You can put up with anymore, tolerate, put off. You're putting your life off. Okay, you won't be able to get away with it anymore. And the one thing that you're going to have to learn in order to do this, I bring this back up because you're going to have to learn to be patient with the real you, so you can nurture it back into existence. That's where this 15 minutes a day comes in. Only 15 minutes a day to nurture the real you back into existence. Okay? It takes focus. But I will tell you, if you do this for a month and you do that 15 minutes a day, start with part 3. You'll find yourself in part 2 going back to where some of the damage happened after you do your writing in part 3 long enough to identify the chapter in part 2 that it's shedding a light on, okay? But be patient with this process. You're worth it. Okay, and I don't know if you missed our event on December 14th down here in Phoenix, Arizona, about 2020. The spirit guides navigate you through the volatile year to come. You can get the replay of this event and watch it on demand for the next 30 days for $9.95. So look for the link to that video in the description of this video, okay? And just so you guys know, I always appreciate it when you guys tell your friends. I know, Kathy, you do that. Thank you, Kathy, for supporting our work and helping your friends and sharing the videos we do on Tuesdays, letting them know about Linda's weekly guided insights, about the books, and about the events we do once a month here in Phoenix. We do appreciate that. And, you know, it's about helping each other. So here we go with our closing message right here on Christmas Eve, right, Ray?
Yeah, Christmas Eve.
How do you like the Christmas tree?
Yeah, it took us forever to decorate that.
That was beautiful. And this is about having gratitude for who you are is the real you. It will always be the real you that recognizes that. And here they go.
We want you to stop worrying about who you are not. Stop worrying about what you haven't accomplished. Stop worrying about what you don't own. Stop worrying about what you feel you lack. Showing gratitude for who you are allows you to love yourself. Loving yourself then leads to trusting yourself. Once you trust yourself, you find yourself in the present moment more often. That's where we can reach you with more guidance that will help you become more grateful for everything.
You know, the craziest thing about this work is it's easy. That's why, and I want to say, in part 2 of my guided journey, I take you back to the early part of your life because you remember how easy it is when you go back to that early part. You remember that you had it every time. You always had it. So it's not something new to you. This is something that's natural to you. It's normal to you. It's time to take it back. Write it down so you can remember what happened, because you can't see it when you're in it, remember? And then you're going to harness this. 2020 is your year.
You know, when you look at it, 15 minutes a day sounds so simple and easy to do it. But a lot of people look at it and say, well, that sounds so simple that it's also easy not to do it.
Yeah, Ray says that. It's so easy to do that it's easier not to do it because it's so easy. So why bother?
It doesn't sound like it's that powerful.
It doesn't sound like it because everything else in this world is going, it's blasting away at you. It's shouting at you. That's another thing. If it's shouting at you, it's not true. It's not the truth.
Right.
It's from this world. They're trying to get you to do something that benefits them. That's what's shouting. So soften it, cool it down, write it down.
There you go.
Okay.
Okay.
You guys, we'll see you next week. Have a wonderful, wonderful Christmas.
Yeah, and don't forget to put out cookies and milk for Santa.
Remember all that. Loved all that stuff.
Yep.
You guys, we always love having you on Tuesday nights. So
We'll see you next week.
We'll see you next week. Good night.